Hey YouTube, today I have the Ross Bayonet trench knife conversion. These are they're pretty interesting. The Ross Bayonet is kind of a pretty nice bayonet to hold. It wasn't a particularly useful bayonet, I'd like to say, because it was a little bit shorter than the bayonets at the time during World War One. And the Ross rifle kind of went out of service fairly quickly in the trenches. So the Canadians found out that, hey, we have all of these bayonets left over. What are we going to do with them? And they made them into trench knives. Now, I'm not sure if this was, sometime maybe mid to late World War One, or if it was during World War Two that they did this, but it's probably professionally done because there are a lot of these out there. Even Jansen in his book says that he thinks that these weren't commercially made, that they were more than likely Canadian trench knives that saw some type of service, and that's due to the Canadian obsolescence mark that you can see right here. It's a kind of a C with a little bit of a star, kind of a hash mark star. You can also see on the scabbard, I believe that's some kind of Canadian acceptance mark, maybe. Could be a different type of obsolescence. Oh no, that looks about the same right there. And then also up here, there's some other kind of acceptance or some kind of mark right there. So it looks like that it did have some military stamping on it. So it very likely could have been used as a military issue knife. They're really nice to hold, to be honest, and you can see a lot of machining on the blade still, so it looks a little rough when you're like looking at it, but when you run your hand across it and hold it, it's not a bad knife, and it does the job. So let's take a look at what the comparison is here. Now, what they did to this knife was clearly they took it down from, I think, about 10 inches to maybe 7 or 8 inches. They also shortened the scabbard there, and they capped it. The differences are pretty obvious right from the get-go. You can see that they took off the muzzle ring, they took off the quill and finial, and when they shortened it, they also put kind of a buoy tip on it. They also sanded down the grips to make it flush with the crossguard and the back part here, where as you can see here, these are a lot fatter and they're not really flush. Now, they obviously ground off the press catch, kind of jammed it, I guess, and they ground out the mortise here. So that is the Canadian Ross Bayonet trench conversion knife.